Press briefing. The purpose of convening this afternoon's meeting is to update you and the good people of Ghana on this year's edition of the Green Ghana Day. We live in a time where the environmental challenges we face are increasingly urgent. Climate change, air pollution, and the loss of biodiversity are issues that affect us all. One of the most effective and immediate actions we can take to combat these challenges is planting trees. Trees are the lungs of the planet, vital to our survival and well-being. But first and foremost, let me take this opportunity to once again, on behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, express our utmost gratitude to all Ghanaians, as well as all residents of Ghana, for your cooperation and continuous support from the conception of the Green Ghana project in 2021 as part of government's aggressive afforestation and reforestation program to restore our degraded landscapes. Distinguished guests, as you may recall, on 16th April 2024, Yana Abubakar Muhammad II launched the 2024 edition of the Green Ghana Day under the theme, and I quote, "Growing for a greener tomorrow," end quote. A target of 10 million tree seedlings will be planted on 7th June 2024, the Green Ghana Day. And yesterday, Monday, June 3rd, 2024, I had the honor of joining the Ochenhene, His Royal Majesty Osajifo Amotie Oforipeni, at Abuakwa State College in Chebi for the launch of the 2024 edition of the One Student, One Tree initiative, where we expect every student across the country to plant a tree on Friday, the Green Ghana Day. On the maiden edition, we targeted 5 million trees. With your support, over 7 million trees were planted. In 2022, we raised our ambition and targeted at least 20 million trees. Again, you supported us, and over 24 million trees were planted. Last year, you once more supported us to plant over 10,700,000 trees, bringing the total number of trees planted to date in excess of 41 million trees. So far, field assessment report shows that on the average, we had 67% survival rate in 2021, 72% 81% in 2023. This means that we have some 30 million trees surviving to date, and our task continues to be to nurture them to full maturity. To ensure maximum survival rates, we have decided to maintain the 2023 target of 10 million trees for 2024. This will give us space to devote some resources and attention to the trees planted over the last 3 years, while not losing momentum on our quest to restore our degraded landscape. It is the expectation of government and that of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources in particular that this year we will receive the usual massive support to build on the successes achieved in 2021, 2022, and 2023. This year, we have settled on the theme, as I said, quote, "Growing for a greener tomorrow," end quote, due to its focus on sustainability, environmental conservation, and our future well-being. This theme will enable us to push boundaries to contribute to the global efforts at tackling climate change, to support our survival and the sustainability of planet Earth. With this being said, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to kindly and respectfully remind the entire citizenry and residents of Ghana that the 2024 edition of the Green Ghana Day will be held on this coming Friday, June 7th, 2024. With your permission, I'll take that again. With this being said, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to kindly and respectfully remind the entire citizenry and residents of Ghana that the 2024 edition of the Green Ghana Day will be held this coming Friday, June 7th, 2024. President Akufo-Addo will lead the entire nation via a commemorative tree planting exercise at the Nicholson Stadium, Bema Camp in Accra. Out of the 10 million trees to be planted this year, 6 million seedlings will be planted in degraded forest reserves across the country, while 4 million will be planted within and around farms, along degraded watershed areas, and within communities, that is medians of roads, homes, schools, churches, offices, recreational grounds, and parks, and across the length and breadth of our country in every nook and cranny of it. This will include selected timber trees, shade trees, ornamental trees, fruit trees, and multi-purpose trees that will be suitable to the climate condition in the various regions. Examples of seedlings to be planted include eucalyptus, mahogany, ophram, wawa, rosewood, teak, cedrilla, mansonia, rain trees, Terminalia mentalis, royal palm, weeping willow, orchid tree, tree of life, mango, coconut, orange, lemon, Indian almond, avocado, cashew, cassia, acacia, militia, and albizia. Each of the 16 regions has been allotted a number of seedlings to be planted, and I respectfully employ all regional ministers to lead their various regions to exceed the appropriated target by planting beyond their quotas. We urge you, our friends from the media, to carry the message across and mobilize our country in support of this noble undertaking. Permit me to seize the occasion to appeal to all Ghanaians and residents of Ghana, our revered chiefs and queen mothers, religious and faith-based organizations, ministers, parliamentarians, judges, public servants, civil servants, doctors, teachers, lawyers, nurses, private sector organizations, civil society organizations, students, members of the diplomatic corps, development partners, artisans, and all persons living in Ghana to once more support government through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to make this year's Green Ghana Day a resounding success. As was done in the previous editions, we have compartments for adoption by private institutions, and we will brand them with their names and logos. Each compartment is 128 hectares, which is about the size of 1,200 standard building plot of 70 feet by 100 feet. And as always, seedlings will be made available at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the district offices of the Forestry Commission, and at various designated public places for collection on the Green Ghana Day come this Friday. Distinguished guests, our friends and partners in the media, officials, ladies and gentlemen, trees are indispensable to the health of our planet and our well-being. Planting and conserving trees is essential for sustainable development and the resilience of ecosystems and human communities. The statement that, and I quote, "When the last tree dies, the last man dies," end quote, still holds true today as ever. Let us, therefore, join hands and Green Ghana on Friday, June 7th, 2024, the Green Ghana Day. Green Ghana, let's go planting. I thank you for your attention and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My sister, the Minister for Information, has directed me to summarize what I've said essentially in Twi, so that all of our compatriots will have the opportunity to understand the message and the clarion call we are making to them. Nti enuanom yadamase bebre na asemtitiri a yede to Ghana mayanim ene se ne tofa ne se ye nyina nim se na wiase nam se ye kwaya ya sei no ene ensase a ya sei no ama de etuenchem ne nsɛmmɔne bebree ɛbrɛ yɛ man no ɔmampanyin Nana Addo Akufo-Addo 2021 ɔhyɛda eyi da si hɔ sɛ saa da no so a Ghana nyinaa obiara bɛsɔre waka ne nyinaa yɛ kodua nnua mohwɛ a 2021 2022 ɛne afi etwa mu yi ɔmampanyin odua bi, Vice President odua bi, Speaker of Parliament odua bi, Chief Justice odua bi, Otumfo odua bi, Yana odua bi, Ɔkyɛnhene odua bi, Gamanche odua bi, Aloyafo odua bi, Teacherfo odua bi, Ankorankorɔfo dodoɔ na edua bi, Ghana manfo nyinaa edua bi. Nti saa mmerɛ na aso yi efiade a ɛba yi a broni nhyehyɛe no kyerɛ ne sɛ 7th of this month 7th June efiade a ɛba yi ano ɔmampanyin ba bɛdi Ghana nyinaa nim a ɔno ankasa etu ne nan ase akɔ Bema camp na wakɔhyɛ adwumadie n'ase edua nnua ne bi wɔ hɔnom na odua wie no na ɛkyerɛ sɛ Ghana afa na baabi a ɛsi yɛ nyinaa ɛsɔre waka na yɛdua nnua ne bi. Na sɛ wopɛ nnua ne bi edua a woba Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources a ebi bɛ wɔ hɔ a wobɛtumi enye bi akɔdua. Sɛ wokɔ District Offices of Forestry Commission baabi a wo bia Damango Atweman Webejo Manhyia o Tatali o baabi a Ghana baabi a District Office of Forestry Commission ya yɛ nhyehyɛ sɛ nnua ne bi bɛ wɔ hɔ a wobɛtumi akɔfa bi na wakɔ akɔdua. Ne yɛbɛsrɛ paa ne die mu ne yɛbɛsrɛ kɛseɛ sɛ menkɔfa dua no ɛmfa nkɔto fie a wondua ɛne yɛbɛsrɛ wo bebree na wodua wie so a na wabɔ ho ban na wahwɛ dua no so ama dua no etimi anyini ama yɛnyina nya ho mfasoɔ na ne ɛka ho biem so ne sɛ afi wei yɛayɛ nhyehyɛ ne sɛ yɛpɛsɛ yɛdua nnua no 10 million nnua no nko a 10 million na yɛbɛnya koraa ne yɛbɛpɛsɛ yɛbɛdua ama no aboro saa sɛnea 2023 yɛkaa sɛ yɛbɛdua 10 million nso yɛbɛwie no ne yɛdua 10,700,000 2021 yɛhyɛ bɔ sɛ yɛbɛdua nnua no 20 million ɛbaakɔ wie akyire no ne yɛdua 24 million 2021 saa so yɛkaa sɛ yɛbɛdua 10 million ɛbaakɔ wie akyire 5 million ɛbaakɔ wie akyire ne yɛdua 7 million nti afi wei a yɛahyehyɛ sɛ yɛbɛdua no 10 million no ɛbɛsrɛ sɛ amanfoɔ bɛboa na yɛdua ama no aboro saa nnua no yɛbɛdua no so yɛbɛdua nnua no ahoroɔ yɛdua timber species yɛbɛdua wawa yɛbɛdua rosewood yɛbɛdua mmire yɛbɛdua teak trees yɛbɛdua mango yɛbɛdua guava yɛbɛdua avocado nti nea wopɛ sɛ wodua bia no mpakyɛw tu saa nam no na Forestry Commission for bɛboa wo na wɔtumi adua nnua no bi na ne korakora ne sɛ dwumadi a yɛdi ama no aboa Ghana man nam sɛ yɛnyina anim sɛ yɛkwaeɛ no dodoɔ naa ne yɛahwere na sɛ yɛahwere ne saa deɛ a na yɛsɛ yɛ so sɛnea ministry for no ne aban aka sɛ yɛpɛ sɛ yɛyɛ broni kasa mu aggressive afforestation and reforestation no na yɛbɛhia sɛ nyinaa bɛsom ne nyinaa boa na yɛdua nnua na yɛ fɛfɛɛfɛ wei sɛbi o sɛbi prejudice a mesrɛ me ka wei nyɛ sɛ yɛ amanyɔkuo wei asɛm anaasɛ amanyɔkuo wei di anaasɛ afana wei ni asɛm anaasɛ afana afoforɔ asɛm Ghanafoɔ nyinaa dwumadie ne yɛdi ɛna Ghanafoɔ hia asɛm a yɛn nyinaa yɛpɛ sɛ yɛka yɛn ho bom ne yɛdi dwuma na yɛfɛfɛɛfɛ na efiada no so a nyame yɛ adom a mate sɛ private sector foɔ bebree ankorankora adwumafoɔ bebree sɛ ɔmo ba abɛgye compartments na ɔmo ankasa adua ne yɛde ɔmo din ɛne ɔmo bibia abɔ hɔ ama amansa nyinaa hu sɛ saa ankorankora adwuma wei ɔno na ɛkɔdua a nnua wɔ hanom yɛwɔ degraded forest reserves bebree wɔ Ghana hanom forest reserve yɛyi to hɔ sɛ wei deɛ ɛyɛ kwaeɛ a yɛbɔ ho ban a nei no nnua no bebree asɛe no yɛtwitwa nnua no bebree agu nti yɛpɛ sɛ yɛdua na ne nyinaa saa so yɛ den ɛsɔre gyina ɔmo nan so nti Ghana manfo yɛsrɛ mo sɛ mo mmoa ɛne yɛyɛ no Ghana baabiaa yɛ all the regions of Ghana dunsia ni nyinaa free same ebeduru ha ebekɔ asanteman mu baabia obiara bɛdua bi na mpanyinfo mo Ghana nyinaa ayɛ krado so bɛdua ɔmampanyin so bɛdua vice president so bɛdua speaker of parliament so bɛdua chief justice so bɛdua otumfoɔ deɛ wɔdua daa ɔso bɛdua ɔkyɛnhene ɛnora yɛne ne kɔyɛ one student one tree ɔno so bɛdua nti ɔmo nyinaa so mu saa na yɛsɛ yɛn mindful no so yɛso yɛsom Medamase bebree mo nhyɛ da mo ayɛ na bibia anya kama medamase
Honorable Minister, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, all I'll say is that I have nothing useful to add. I think Minister has given us a very beautiful summary in Twi, and also giving us explanations in English. On that note, we'll take your questions. If you have any question, this is a good time to ask. Okay, I saw the first hand here, second at the back, third, fourth. Okay, and I've seen another hand at the back. So we'll take this first five, and then we'll take the responses and come back for the next set of questions.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Cliff Ekufu. I write for the Ghanaian Times. Minister, I would want to find out how much in terms of financing have we committed to the project so far? That's from 2021 to 2024. How much have we spent so far in executing this particular project? The name is Cliff. Yeah, Cliff.
Okay, Mr. Atta. Okay.
Thank you. Atamisa GNA. I want to find out how much has been devoted for this year's tree planting exercise. Then, last year, citizen providers raised issues about outstanding payments of the citizen they provided. We want to find out whether the ministry has been able to settle all the indebtedness to them. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
My name is Salom Babiji from the New Finder, NZ.
Salom, Finder,
Yes.
New Finder.
Have we as a nation tried to leverage on our tree planting efforts, our environmental conservation efforts to get what are essentially credits, environmental credits from international organizations? Have we done that? And how much have we got if we've done that?
Thank you so much. I saw two hands at the back, so we'll take those two.
Right, my name is Obed. I report for GH1 TV. Minister, we want to find out, people have raised concerns about the survival rates of the trees that are planted. There's one thing planting the trees, and there's another, the trees growing up to serve its purpose. How is the ministry monitoring the survival rates of these trees that we are planting?
Okay, thank you for the questions. We'll take Honorable Minister's responses and then come back to you for the next six. If you just joined us, you can watch us live on GTV, Joy News, UTV, ABC News, GH, Movement TV, or Man FM, Netu TV, and we are streaming on Facebook at Ministry of Information.
So thank you very much. My friend Cliff from wants to know how much we spent so far from 2021 to date. I wish I got the chairman to come and answer this, but it's okay, Mr. Chairman. You've given me the relevant information. I mean, what it is really is that as much as possible, we like to execute this project through private funding, if you want, or through private contributions. Corporate Ghana, faith-based organizations, NGO, and so on and so forth. In my view, if I had my way, this kind of intervention, given how noble it is and the impact it has on our society, the government of Ghana should not be taking money from the already burdened national exchequer to fund this. I mean, in other jurisdictions, when it comes to issues of environmental preservations and tree planting and the rest, you have charities and who undertake these things. But unfortunately, we are not there yet. And so the first response I'd like to give to you, Cliff, is that by and large, the funding sources are mostly private. I mean, you have every year I write letters to corporate Ghana, and then they contribute, and we use that money to fund this undertaking. But the government of Ghana do chip in if you want. And the report or the information I have is that in 2021, the government of Ghana allocated 2 million Ghana cedis. And I want to believe that this is 2 million Ghana cedis which has been disbursed, not just allocation, because there's a world of difference between allocating and disbursing it. And then 2022, 2 million Ghana cedis, 2023, 2.5 million. And this year, the government of Ghana is allocated 1.5 million Ghana cedis. I hope that money is being disbursed. And what we are doing, it costs a lot of money. Raising seedlings costs a lot of money. Sensitization costs some money. Mobilization, logistics, and so on and so forth. The Ghana Armed Forces, for example, has been very helpful over the years. Every now and again, they assist in moving seedlings, in helping us with logistical support, and so on and so forth, without having to take any money for it. They consider that to be their corporate or civil responsibility, discharging that. So that is what I can say to you. If you want a detailed account of how much has been raised over the period, how much has been spent on seedlings and that, I'm sure you can contact the planning committee and they will furnish you with that. My friend from GNA wants to know how much for 2024, which I think I've responded to, and our level of indebtedness. We still have some considerable amounts of money which is to be cleared from 2021. And as I say, it is all part of the inadequate funding. But every now and again, we are speaking to the Ministry of Finance, and the chair and members of the planning committee are working around the clock to see how they can raise a lot more funding to be able to clear this debt. And I think that the Ghana Journalists Association and the press corps at the Ministry of Information can also put your heads together to see if you can take the bill for, say, 1,000 seedlings. Why not? That would be great. And all of that will help. Selom from Finder is asked a very important question, which is the whole area of carbon credits. What we are doing now essentially is building our forest cover, okay, and ensuring that we replenish degraded forest reserves and get to a point where we have real forest estate or forest resource which can be leveraged in the carbon market space. One of the biggest spaces for fundraising today or of raising capital is the carbon market. As you know, because of climate change and the insistence on conglomerate and large-scale companies having what they call zero carbon footprints. You have all these oil company giants like Tallow and the rest who flare a lot of carbon dioxide and who will require tropical forest countries like Ghana to engage in aggressive afforestation and reforestation as we are doing for us to offset the carbon that they flare. And it's a big trade, it's big business, multi-million-dollar business. I think a week or two ago, I launched or witnessed the transaction between the Forestry Commission and Tallow, where they've signed an emission reduction carbon trading agreement, which is a lot of money that hopefully, if we are able to pursue it, the Forestry Commission should be able to raise a lot of money. I mean, we've got money from World Bank, for example, I think $5 million through verified emission reductions interventions which has been made. So the other important advantage of what we are doing is that yes, we are restoring the forest cover of Ghana. Yes, we are planting trees. Yes, we are going to get benefits from it as a nation in terms of the preservation of our ecosystem, the restoration of our landscape, the restoration of our forest, enclave, and resource. But at the same time, down the road, when we get to a certain stage, we can leverage that. We can leverage our forests to raise capital, to raise funding for the Republic of Ghana. So it's going to give us a whole lot of advantages. And I'm happy that you asked this important question. The final one is the survival rate. And I've given the indication that in 2021 we had 68% survival rate. In 2022 we had 70 plus in survival rate. In 2023 we had 80% plus. And I think the reason for it is simple. I mean, as the years go by, we learn from our lessons, we sharpen up a lot more, and we are able to monitor and ensure that we nurture the trees a lot more better. And that is really why we have, for example, maintained the number of trees we are planting this year to 10 million. When we began, we said 5, and then we moved from 5 to 20 million. And then from there, we dropped to 10. And now we are insisting that we stay at 10, because the point is not just planting the trees. The point is planting the trees and ensuring that they grow to maturity. And the lesser you plant, the more you are able to monitor, the more you are able to keep an eye on the trees and nurture them to maturity. The final point I'd like to make on that, though, is to say that when you look at the survival rates, the degraded forest reserves, which is where the Forest Commission plants, or the Forest Commission partners with private organizations to plant, the survival rates tend to be very high. Where you then have problems is where somebody walks to the Ministry of Land and picks a seedling, goes to plant because it's green Ghana there and it's fashionable, so everybody's planting trees, and once they finish planting, that is it. Or somebody walks to the offices of the Forestry Commission and picks a mango seedling, and he goes to plant the mango seedling, and they don't pay attention to it again. Then first you have a much more difficulty in monitoring, and secondly, you then also have a low survival rate. So what we will say also is that it's an appeal to all and sundry. When you pick the seedlings and you plant, we will indulge you, we will crave your indulgence very strongly, that please look after the trees to grow. And that is how the survival rate can be high. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. If there are some more hands or follow-up questions here, Nana, and then we'll come to you. Okay, if there are no hands, I'll take that to be the last 2 questions. Okay. Yeah. So you can bring the microphone to him at the front. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon, Honorable Minister. My name is Nana Poku from the Research Light. The government, the ministry, and the Forestry Commission, they are doing their best to, as it were, green or replenish the lost species of trees in the forest areas. But my problem is the problem of many Ghanaians, that we have left some people to lumber in the forest and destroy the trees. Some degrade the vegetation because of their mining activities, and we have left them scot-free. What is the guarantee that when we plant the trees, they will not go back and destroy the trees in the near future? Because nothing seems to be done about some of these people who are really creating the problem for the country. What can we ensure that when we plant the trees, they will not go back in future and destroy the trees for us to spend another money, as it were, to replenish the trees that we are destroying? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So we'll take the last question for Mr. Atanas.
Atanas from GNA. Yes, I want the minister to clarify for me the 10 million that the ministry has targeted, whether it involves the one supplied by the private sector, by churches, and if you can clarify that one, how much is government providing, and then how much the private sector is providing?
No, he has mentioned that this year government is contributing 1.5 million.
No, I'm not talking about the amount. The 10 million seedlings.
The seedlings?
Yes. How much is coming from the private sector, and then how much the government institutions are also providing? Then my second question is regarding the sustenance of this initiative. Over the years, we have witnessed very important national exercises like during the Atanas era, when we undertake communal exercise at the last Saturday of every month, cleaning of gutters and environment, but it's not being sustained. So I want to find out, with this laudable initiative, Green Ghana Day, has the ministry put in any legislation to ensure that in the event this government is not there, it will be sustained for the good of our nation? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So I take that to be the last set of questions. We will take Honorable Minister's responses and his concluding remarks.
Okay, thank you very much, the senior fellow Nana. ask the question about the measures we are putting in place to ensure that the forest estate of our country is preserved and maintained. The first point I'd like to make is that the responsibility of government, and I should say all of us, and of lands and natural resources, and even more so the Forestry Commission, is the sustainable and responsible exploitation and management of our forest resources. And maybe this may sound strange to you, but it is the truth. Exploiting your or leveraging your forest in and by itself is not a bad thing. I mean, it's not. I mean, several countries derive a lot of foreign earnings, and they contribute tremendously to their national economy through the exploitation or leveraging of their forest estate. I mean, for example, the fish resources of our country, exploiting the fish resources of our country in itself is not bad. What is wrong is the unsustainable, illegal, irresponsible exploitation of these resources. In some time past, one of the major growth pillars or poles of the Ghanaian national economy was the timber industry. Western region, everybody knows that. Takoradi and the rest, the timber industry, the sawmills, the big timber industries in our country were a major anchor or pillar for economic activity in our country. So what we are trying to do is to do, essentially, in my view, three things. First is to cordon and protect the existing forest reserves of our country, or the forest estate or resource of our country. That's the first one. Second is to pursue an aggressive afforestation and reforestation policy and program, and which is what is culminated in this Green Ghana intervention and several other interventions. There are so many other, the Tonga system, which we are pursuing with farmers, where we are, for example, working with farmers to say that if you farm an acre, you should plant a certain number of trees and you'll be rewarded, and so on and so forth. In some cases, you will pay money to them. So there are so many interventions, the Green Ghana Day inclusive, which is geared towards aggressive afforestation and reforestation. Because whilst you are protecting the forest reserves of your country, or the forest estate of your country, they are degraded forest reserves. There are places that have been destroyed already. So what do you do about those? That is where the aggressive afforestation and reforestation comes in. Then the third policy of the government and the ministry is the sustainable exploitation of the forest resources of our country. And there what we are trying to do is tracing. That is really where the issue is, tracing. And tracing, what do we mean by tracing? Tracing is from harvesting of the timber or from harvesting of the wood to its final disposal to the market. Are we able to account for it? That's essentially what it is. And there are a plethora of interventions we are putting in place. I mean, I think a month or so ago, the Technical Director of Forestry and Mr. Siako are working day and night to ensure that we conclude our voluntary partnership agreement with the European Union, for example, which will mean that every wood that will come out of Ghana has a stamp both from the European Union and Ghana, which they call the FLEGT license, the Forest Law Enforcement and Governance Trade, FLEGT license, where we both will stamp on it to say that this tree was legally harvested and that it's gone through the right processes before it ends up in the European market. We are trying to do the same thing with the United Kingdom. We are trying to engage the Chinese authority to ensure that wood that ends up in China. So a lot of work is going into this. So much work to ensure that the exploitation and management of the forest resources of our country is done sustainably, is done legally, is done responsibly, and is done in a manner that contributes to the national economy of our country, but that does not unnecessarily deplete the forest estate of our country. So really, this is what we are doing. You know about rosewood, the interventions we made on rosewood. Very major intervention very early on in the administration of this Akufo-Addo regime in 2021, when I had the privilege to become a minister. We found out that rosewood, which was well sought after in the luxury world of Europe, was harvested and taken to other parts of the world and then cleaned up, if you want, laundered through CITES permit, and they end up in these luxury places of the world to be used for cruise ships, aeroplanes, Mercedes-Benz, paneling, and the rest. So what did we do? We banned the issuance of CITES permits altogether. And even when it also became evident that the auction, which the Forestry Commission conducted, then became a conduit for cleaning up this wood for export, we put a ban on that as well. And I think by and large, all of us will agree that the wanton harvesting of indiscriminate harvesting of rosewood is largely being brought under control. So there's a lot that is being done to ensure that we protect the forest cover of our country. Of course, mining is a big elephant in the room. We continue to grapple with it. We are not home yet. We are not home and dry yet, but a lot of work is being done, and I think that the culture of impunity is being exercised, and a lot more work has to be done to ensure that we come to grips with the issue of illegal mining in our country. And finally, my friend from GNE, thank you for your commendation that the Green Ghana intervention is laudable, and also your concern that what if this government is not in place, what will happen to the Green Ghana Day? You cited the late President Mills's every Saturday cleaning thing, which is now become a thing of the past. I'm happy that you agree that the Green Ghana intervention is laudable and that it is contributing positively to restoring the forest cover of our country, and also that it is something that should be continued. Legislation, I'm not too sure. I don't think that we need legislation to keep an intervention such as this, which almost unanimously we've all agreed that it is a good thing. I want to believe that the government that will succeed President Akufo-Addo's government will continue with this, and I have no doubt that whichever government is constituted will definitely continue with this noble intervention, because it's helping the country and it's a good thing, and it's inculcating in the young ones the culture of tree planting and the need to plant trees. I made this point in Chebi yesterday. In Israel, the policy is that if you had anything of entertainment, say if you had a picnic or you had a party, the last thing you were to do was to plant a tree or was to plant trees. And they've done it so much that it's become part of their national culture, their way of life, and it's helped them to green the whole of Israel. I believe that block by block, through the Green Ghana Day, we should be able to inculcate this culture of tree planting in the whole population, particularly the young ones, for the future of our country. And so, by way of concluding remarks, Madam Minister, thank you so very much for your support as always. I thank you so very much, members of the media, and we very respectfully and passionately call on you to take this message across. We just have about 3 days to go for the Green Ghana Day, and it is through your help that we believe that every Ghanaian will get to know about Green Ghana Day, so that Friday it will be a success for the good of Ghana, so we can restore the forest cover of Ghana. And so let me conclude by saying, Green Ghana Day, let's go planting. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, Chair of the National Green Ghana Committee, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for today's press briefing. Particularly, I would like to thank GTV, Joy News, UTV, ABC News, Movement TV, Oman FM, and Netu TV for picking this press briefing live. I thank you so much for joining us, and it's my prayer that on Friday you lace your boots, wear your jeans, and look for a place to plant and check on your old plants. I've been nurturing my tree. I'm trying. If you go in front of the ministry, you see that the tree that I planted is still alive, and I feel so proud about it. So please, this Friday, plant at least one. Yes, at least one. Please make it a point to plant a tree. Thank you.